but I've never really seen quote unquote healthy conversation about
Mm.
what are the emotions at play, why are they there, how do expectations, for example, get in the way, and I wonder how can we embrace emotions
Hmm.
and make our lives a little bit easier by doing
Yeah,
so.
sure. But straight away, this whole idea of what is an appropriate way of having a conversation, I've also learned in my experience that just because it's not my way of having a conversation doesn't mean it doesn't have a value. It doesn't mean that people don't also get things done, even though their methods that they use in coming to these agreements don't really fit with the kind of a person I am. I think a great part about it isn't so much that, but more how you deal with your own emotions and how you start understanding that they're there for a very good reason.
We do that.
How do we do that? It's quite an interesting one because I have clients with all kinds of emotional issues. And probably the one thing that is common to all of them is that quite often it's about negative emotions, and quite often it's about not wanting to feel those negative emotions. And probably the first question then arises, can I influence my own emotions? And in conversation with my clients, we generally come to the same conclusion. No, you cannot. Your emotions are there. So you do not influence your emotions. Your emotions are there and they influence you. So just that first little bit of acceptance of I have emotions, I'm allowed to have these emotions as well, because that's step two. A lot of people, for example, are taught in their childhood you're not allowed to be angry, for example. When you think about that, that's almost impossible. I mean, how are you going to live a life that anybody can do with you whatever they want and you don't get angry?
Yeah.
So, so understanding that the emotions A are there, that B, you have very little influence over the emotion itself, and C, they're allowed to be there. That to me is already that's already a really solid foundation, because then you can start doing something about them.